1999, Kargil started. I got posted in extreme cold climate and high altitude in the year 1997. And it was like an experiment of Indian Army. Can lady officers perform in high altitude? And I had volunteered. So, जहां तक नजर जाती थी खाली एक लेडी ऑफिसर आपको नजर आती. And though I was in my second trimester of pregnancy, it was not like this that it is just, the initial months, pata hi nahi chala pregnant hu. No. And since I was the only lady officer, there was no gynecologist also. We had this responsibility on our shoulders कि हमको तो करके ही दिखाना है. Right. और सिर्फ वो दरवाजे पैर अड़ाने की देरी थी, and we were just tearing through the alpha male domains. And let me very proudly share with you that Kargil turned around a lot of things.
Hi everyone, all my dear subscribers are welcome back to the channel, and for all the new viewers, my name is Adip Kundra and this is my 5th vlog. March is the month when we celebrate women, and today here I am to celebrate two incredible women with you. The first one undoubtedly is my mom, Tulika Kundra, who has recently started with her own YouTube channel Tulika's Magic, where she is sharing her treasured, delicious and mouth-watering recipes. So do support her by subscribing to her channel and sharing her videos. You can find the link to her channel in the description box below. For the second part of the video, I have another incredible story of a very incredible woman who was posted at the Kargil front during the conflict, and she was on her family way when she was posted there. So let me introduce to you all Captain Yashika Tyagi.
So viewers, right now I am with Captain Yashika Tyagi, and ma'am, welcome to the channel, and thank you for sparing time for out of your busy schedule.
It is absolute honor to be speaking to a fellow brother in arms, and never gives me greater pleasure than to speak to peers. And I'm so glad that I'm here on your show. Looking forward to this wonderful conversation.
Yes, ma'am, indeed. Ma'am, I literally get goosebumps when I actually think about the Kargil conflict. So, ma'am, would you share with the viewers how was your experience with regards to the Kargil conflict?
Kargil was challenging, to say the least, right? On all fronts, as a nation, as a subcontinent. It was for the first time that we had two nuclear-powered nations actually locking horns. If you go a little back into the history, 1998, both the countries, that is India and Pakistan, we tested our nuclear capabilities. And in order to have peace in the subcontinent, early part of the year in 99, we had Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji going into Pakistan, bus yatra, signing the Lahore Declaration. And just a couple of months later than that, in the month of May, we had this Kargil erupting. So as a subcontinent, it was a big challenge because two big nuclear-powered countries were coming together. As an army, it was challenging for us because we were taken by surprise, and that is no secret. We were actually taken by surprise. Terrain-wise, it was a big challenge because there is a maxim in army that goes that mountains love the defenders. Mountains always favor the defenders. And so if Pakistanis had taken control of those ridge lines and were defending them to the bone, and they were very, very well entrenched and a very determined enemy. So to attack and to take our ridge lines back, that was a huge challenge for us. It was a big challenge for me personally as a logistics officer, because this entire area of high altitude, it is only supported logistically for 4 to 5 months in a year, right? So our vehicles carrying logistic load can only navigate those treacherous roads in this very short open window of 4 to 5 months. And we have to take care of the complete sector, fill our depots, provision and take care of every new equipment, every spare, every possible requirement that you can think of in this short span. And since in most part of the year these roads are covered under snow, um, the condition of roads is not very good when the road opening period starts and our trucks start rolling.
Yes, ma'am.
And for me, as a lady officer, I was the only lady officer at that time posted in the high altitude in the year 1997. That is like 2 years back when the Kargil, from the Kargil, 1999, Kargil started. I got posted in extreme cold climate and high altitude in the year 1997. And it was like an experiment of Indian Army. Can lady officers perform in high altitude? And I had volunteered. So जहां तक नजर जाती थी खाली एक लेडी ऑफिसर आपको नजर आती. So for logistics wing, of course there were few medicos, doctors, but in the logistics branch I was the first one. And as the year 99 started coming, mid 99, started posting more lady officers there. So
Okay.
as a journey of lady officer into the Indian Army, it was very challenging, but we navigated it. I was married and I was pregnant. That was a huge challenge, but I think that didn't matter at that point of time because that was nowhere in the thought process कि मैं pregnant भी हूँ. सोचने का समय नहीं था आदित्य.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, the very insightful information that you shared, ma'am, many of us, I'm very sure, many of us, even from the viewers, would not be aware of the challenges that we face at the high altitude front. And especially if we talk about logistics, that is actually the backbone for all the soldiers, all the officers, all the men who are there at the front. If we are not able to support logistically to the people who are fighting the war, then we can't win the battle. That's what my understanding is. But yes, ma'am, I'm sure that, as you said, that you were more or less the first option for the Indian Army to experiment out with the women officers at the front, especially at that particular bases at the front. I'm sure, your experience must have surely opened doors for other women officers. You proved the point that yes, the lady officers can do and they can be at the front. So, what happened subsequently, ma'am? Did it open doors for the other women officers also to be there at the front?
Certainly, certainly. See, 1993, the first batch rolled out. And I came into academy in the year, I mean, I passed out in the year 1994. So those were very, very initial years. And I really believe that every lady officer of those initial batches were, जिसको हम हिंदी में कहते हैं ना, जुनून. वो एकदम एक जुनूनी lot. Why I call them junoonies is that हमको पता था that we are giving our best years to this organization. Knowing fully well, it may not get permanent in our lifetimes. Because that point of time, it was not a commission, it was a scheme.
Okay.
The commission was named Women Special Entry Scheme.
Okay.
And initial few batches were just part of a scheme. And by definition, scheme is like chalegi, chalegi, nahi chalegi, to dabba par. Right? We had this responsibility on our shoulders कि हमको तो करके ही दिखाना है.
Right.
और सिर्फ वो दरवाजा पैर अड़ाने की देरी थी and we were just tearing through the alpha male domains. And let me very proudly share with you that Kargil turned around a lot of things. And let me just take 2 minutes and tell you how things changed so beautifully. So Kargil ke time tak we had the commission was WSESO, that is O for officers. And our entry was through merit.
Okay.
So All India applications आती थी, merit list बनती थी, subjects के हिसाब से आपको services दी जाती थी. Say ASC will have a different educational requirement and EME will have a different educational requirement. Ordnance will have a different educational requirement. On the basis of those subjects, All India merits were made and then directly call would come for assessment. But after that, the changes came on many fronts. सबसे पहले, the CDS opened for girls. So now the entry was being equal. लड़कों का CDS है और लड़कियों का भी CDS, right? And then it is CDS and then SSB. Second thing, initially the training was only for 6 months.
Okay. At the OTA?
At OTA. अभी आपको पता है, आप फौजी हैं, आपको पता है कि कोई half cocked officer नहीं निकालता है फौज से,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
The training has to be complete. So in 6 months, we were being trained for 9 months. So
Okay.
our training timings, कोई compromise नहीं है. The challenges were so much in the academy that we all were, it was a race against time and we were rushing through the things. वो change हो गया. Now CDS, then SSB, then equal training time for boys and girls. And then as the time went by, WSES was changed into SS Commission.
Okay.
तब तक SS Commission ही नहीं आया था, Short Service Commission ही नहीं आया था. It came later on. So it was a big victory for us. And now you see, 30 years down the line, permanent commission,
Correct.
girls commanding the installations,
Yes.
becoming commanding officer. Now also being posted on warships. We are having Agniveers coming in, girls coming in the soldiers' cadres. I think it's a whole different ballgame now. We are here to stay, and how?
And definitely, ma'am, you have seen it all, right from the starting of the journey to the progress that we've made it so far. But ma'am, just going back to the Kargil conflict, you mentioned that you were on your family way when you were posted at the front. So, did that ever strike a fear? Because I understand even Sir was posted at the front at that point of time. So, what was your wellspring of inspiration, ma'am? That, I'm sure you must have initially had that 1 second of fear, but what made you overcome that fear?
I mean, I had no moment of fear for my unborn child, right? I was in family way. For that, I did not have a fear, like taking it on from your question. Actually, when I think back and try to jog my memory, I actually do not have any moment where I thought, अभी इसका क्या होएगा? क्योंकि मैं I'm not in a frame of mind to, जैसे कहते हैं आप प्रेग्नेंट हैं तो आप हमेशा पॉजिटिव सोचें और आप बिल्कुल, you give lot of positive thoughts to the child, and वो सोचने का टाइम ही नहीं था, because एक टाइम तक मैं I forgot that I'm pregnant also. And though I was in my second trimester of pregnancy, it was not like this that it is just, the initial months, pata hi nahi chala pregnant hu. No. And since I was the only lady officer, there was no gynecologist also.
Okay.
You imagine all the पीछे जाते जाओ तो एक chain link बनते जाता है कि the pregnancy was difficult on many fronts. I was not able to rest. I was not able to have proper diet. I was not able to think well. I was not able to sleep. Constantly on foot for days to end. At one point of time, for about 7 to 8 days, I did not go back to my billet. Stayed, there in the unit. वही कपड़े में, क्योंकि रात दिन issues चल रहे थे. Thousands of soldiers being pumped into the sector. They had to be equipped, readied. Otherwise, an effective battle is not possible if the logistics is not working properly. And I had my eldest son with me, who was just 2+, and I was pregnant. My husband was fighting a battle in Dras sector, which is the most treacherous sector, Tiger Hill and all that. My thoughts were with him. क्या होता है जब आप ऑफिसर हो तो आपको फर्स्ट हैंड इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रही है. You are not asking people कि क्या चल रहा है मुझे बताओ. Like I remember when I would come back from office, I would meet many ladies who would be waiting for me road पे भी कि गाड़ी रोको, बताओ क्या चल रहा है, where are our husbands, how are they fine? Those kind of so I would, with all that in my hand, I would tell them that have faith, have faith, have faith. And so many times I would be giving the night duties also in the div headquarters and receiving those signals and the direct phone calls that this is the casualty, this is the casualty. Every time, fingers crossed. God, I should not receive my husband's name. God, I should not receive my husband's name. Though it's a very selfish thought, but then, you have brother officers everywhere. But that one thought with your husband is like, बस सुहाग की रक्षा कर लेना भगवान, बस ये दिन निकाल दे, ये दिन निकाल दे. And that was that was the thought with my husband. जो बेटा था साथ में, उसके लिए thought था कि my commanding officer allowed me to bring him to the unit because I could not leave him. We had blackouts everywhere. I had
Mhm.
nowhere where I could leave. So he allowed me to bring him to the office. And logistic installations are a prime target, you know.
Yes.
We had in the beginning of Kargil War only we had a shelling coming at our Kargil ammunition dump where everything went up into the flames. ऐसा तो नहीं कि कोई similar bombing comes into the the main logistic base. क्या होगा? वो बच्चा जो पेट में था उसके लिए तो सोच ही नहीं रही थी मैं. When you wear a uniform, and I am not saying it only from a sense of to give a false bravado or just because it gives a good sound bite, but I have lived those moments, and so I can say that uniform is like an exoskeleton. It gives you it gives you a shield, and the thoughts that otherwise would make a person weak does not touch you. They don't touch you, and because they don't touch you, you give a mirror image. Every jawan I would see, मैडम जो है वो दे स्टार्टेड नो मैडम इट्स ओनली सर आप किसी से कम नहीं हो इन्फेंट्री जवान्स कमिंग एंड टेलिंग मी मैडम आप किसी से कम नहीं हो आप सिर्फ सर हो एंड यू नो दैट व्हेन अ जवान कॉल्स यू सर नो नो women live here but it actually gives you a level playing field that I am accepted on my merit. I am accepted on my merit. And those days were harrowing, logistically challenging, physically challenging, psychologically challenging. But when you see people around you, जो आपको देखकर आपने पूछा what is your wellspring of positive thoughts? I think my wellspring came from my family. My mother, who never for once doubted that I cannot do a certain thing. Rather, she would always say that, "Papa ka naam uncha rakhna beta. Papa ka naam uncha." Since I lost my father when I was just 7, and he had fought 62, 65, and 71 war. So I am carrying his blood. And she would just say, Papa ka naam uncha rakhna. That was the thought. My husband always supported me. That was, and he never felt that since I'm in the family way, I should ask for easier way out and say कि मेरे को आप peace area में भेज दो. अब मैं
Mm.
इस domain के लिए तैयार नहीं. No, my commanding officer asked me that, are you up to it, Yashika? Or should we take up a case to send you to the plain areas that you are pregnant? I said, sir, I am trained for this day only. Academy में इसी दिन की training कराते हैं. And since it is a normal delivery, I think I can manage. And I think I'm good. And I think I'm your best bet. And he never doubted me for a second after that. So I think that when you believe in yourself, you put at rest all the doubts. Moment you start saying, मैं कर पाऊंगी या नहीं कर पाऊंगी, people will always say, ये शायद नहीं कर पाए. Because there was no, what do you say, a role model. There was no previous example. And people could not have this thing कि अरे फलानी ने कर लिया तो ये भी कर लेंगे. No. So I had faith in myself because everyone around me had faith in me. So that wellspring came from within, that came from the people who were around me, that came from my family, that came from my kids. अभी आप सोचो वो जो प्रेगनेंसी थी, अगर उसमें कॉम्प्लिकेशन हो जाता तो माई सेंस ऑफ मोटिवेशन वुड हैव सफर्ड अ डेंट, बट इट डिड नॉट. तो ऊपर वाला आपको देखता है,
Yes.
आपके इंटेंशन ठीक होंगे, आपको ऊपर वाला हमेशा देखता है. एंड आई वेरी फर्मली बिलीव दैट देयर इज अ सेंटेंस, एंड मैंने तो लिख के लगा रखा है जहां मैं काम करती हूँ, तो मैं आई आई राइट इट, दैट इफ इट इज टू बी, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. So I have to tell myself I can do things. I can do it. And I was able to do it at that point of time. तो अब वो देख लिया तो फिर जिंदगी में कुछ भी कम है उसके आगे.
मैम, लिसनिंग टू योर एक्सपीरियंस, इवन आई वांट टू से कि आप किसी से कम नहीं हो. एंड
Thank you.
एंड
That's like a badge of honor.
a role
Thank you.
model. You are a role model. And you inspire many, not just the women of this country, but even the youth. And वो आपने जो बात कही ना मैम कि after wearing that uniform and you feel like doing something for the country, and it's a very great opportunity that any of the person donning a uniform gets, to serve their country. But ma'am, with your experience, what message would you like to share with the viewers?
The biggest thing that can let us down is ourselves. That is the only thing that can let you down. And my message to everyone is that moment you start feeling that sense of self-doubt, will I be able to reach my goal in life? Am I dreaming too higher than my station? If people around me are saying ये तुम्हारे बस की नहीं है, तो क्या actually ये मेरे बस की नहीं है? When you start having those doubts, you always just sit down and think that why you thought of this dream at the first place. Failures हमेशा ज्यादा मिलेंगे, सक्सेस हमेशा कम मिलेगी, हमेशा 1:10 के रेशियो में चलेगा, शायद 1:10, 20, 30, 40 के रेशियो में चलेगा. फेलियर ज्यादा, सक्सेस कम. बट rephrase that failure in your mind. Say that it is one more step to success. One more step to success. Edison made bulb in its 1,000th try, and he called it 1,000 steps to success. We all can do anything that we want. You just have to. And I always tell this story. That when I was in school, college, I had gone to RD camp and I was rejected because I was short height. I could not march on the Rajpath. मैं फौज में आई, मैं कॉन्टिजेंट कमांडर बनी. सारी जिंदगी में सोचती रही राजपथ नहीं मार्च कर पाई, सब कुछ कर लिया, लेकिन वो एक दिल में एक कसक थी. रिपब्लिक डे परेड. एंड दिस ईयर 2023 I get a phone call from
Yes.
Army headquarters saying that you are the first woman veteran to be on Republic Day parade. Remember, from Army, Navy, Air Force, all the three services,
Yes,
the
ma'am, I
first
saw
woman
that.
veteran.
Yes.
From where did it come? So, जिंदगी आपको वो देगी सब कुछ अगर आप शिद्दत से मेहनत कर रहे हैं. एंड वेरी रिसेंटली, अभी एक हफ्ते पहले, राष्ट्रपति felicitated me. President of India. Where did it come from? And she looks at me and there's this beautiful candid photo and she says, आपके medals बहुत चमक रहे हैं. Oh my God. Supreme Commander of Armed Forces is telling me, आपके medals बहुत चमक रहे हैं. In her shant, quiet way, President Droupadi Murmu complimented me. I think life comes full circle. Those Kargil medals were shining on my medal plate. जिंदगी आपको सब कुछ देगी, आप बस मेहनत करते जाओ. That is the only message.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. That is indeed very inspiring. I'm sure after listening to you, many of them would be encouraged. And I must say that the message that goes out is your limit is only the one that you set in your mind.
आपके लिए इतनी लिमिट है जितनी आप अपने लिए डिसाइड करते हैं. वेरी राइट.
Thank you, ma'am, once again, and wish you all the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much and all the best to you. May you reach greater heights. May your second innings be very, very flourishing. And wish you good luck. And bravo, Zulu.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.